Hello, welcome to Selling the Storm on ENF Trade TV. I'm your host Trambak, and today we will hear another challenging installation story shared firsthand by Jiangsu Clelo Tech, a company from China. Hi Emma, welcome to the show. Could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Clelo Tech?
Hello, this is Emma from Jiangsu Clelo. I'm the sales director responsible for all of our product sales and solar projects. We are not just a solar panel manufacturer. We are a full-service solution provider. We develop solar projects and carry out EPC, engineering, procurement, and construction services.
Emma, tell us about your project that presented a unique challenge for Clelo Tech and what made it so demanding.
It's actually a two-in-one project. It's located in Suzhou with a 280 kilowatt rooftop system for the first phase and a 63.7 kilowatt for the carport system. It's a second phase. And the first phase was completed in December 2021, and the second phase was only completed December 10, 2025. For the roof project, the solar panels with standard conversion efficiency are acceptable. There is no requirement for premium high-efficiency modules. But for the carport, it must be equipped with high-efficiency solar panels that deliver strong energy yield on the local climatic conditions. While performance is also critical, the solution must also demonstrate cost effectiveness and balancing high output with a competitive overall system price. And the roof and the floor integration with a proper rainwater drainage to prevent pooling. And all of the materials and workmanship must meet or exceed industry best practices, ensuring long-term durability, minimum maintenance, and resilience against extreme weathers like typhoon in Jiangsu.
Let's dive deeper on the technical side, Emma. You use standard efficiency modules on the roof, but high efficiency on the carport. What was the logic behind the split, and how did you balance the yield versus the total system cost?
Well, actually, the split came down to space constraints versus cost optimization. On the roof, we had plenty of space and a simpler installation. So we went with standard efficiency modules because they are cheaper and cost effectiveness. But on the carport, every square meter counts and the steel structure is expensive. So we use high efficiency DC panels to get more power out of less space, which actually saved money on racking, foundation, and overall layout. So it wasn't about which panel was better, it was about putting the right technology in the right place to balance yield, cost, and space.
Since you have used good V modules across both the cases, I would like to focus on the module choices. What made the 450 watt standard modules the better fit for rooftop, whereas the 650 watt higher efficiency modules more suitable for the carport?
For rooftop, the 450 watt standard modules plus good V inverters because it's lighter weight and safe for roofs with the load limits. And the module cost per watt is very competitive, and simpler mounting and labor help keep the total system very low cost. And for the carport 650 watt higher power BC modules, it's much more power per panel and more system power with limited space needed. And it takes up less space, ideal for the tight parking areas. And it's run just as cool as standard panels. There's no added heat concerns about the PC panels. So we just use the 450 watt on roofs for the safety and simplicity. And we use the 650 watt DC on carports to save space and cut costs. It's just a smart combination for the best overall result.
That's very strategic. Moving on to the next question, Emma. As per our research, the roof was color-coated steel with noticeable corrosion. How did you assess the risk? And why did you decide to have the roof replaced before installing the PV system?
The roof was already rusty when we got there, and we checked it on site and told the client we cannot install on this like this because it's really not safe. So after a very sincere conversation with the customer, they agreed to replace the roof first, and then we installed the PV system. So now it's replaced with the new roof. The whole system is very solid and the future repairs won't be a problem.
Emma, just like what you said earlier, the roof was completed in late 2021, while the carport moved from original October target to around mid-December. So why did the client wait before moving ahead with the carport? And what caused the delay in its completion?
The client actually wanted to observe its in real-world performance over time, especially after it's weathered the typhoons in both 2022 and 2025, before moving the full speed with the Carport system. That weight gave them confidence in the system's durability and the technology choice. So they gave us high remarks and more believing about this case. As for the Carport delay, from an original October 2025 target to mid-December, the main reason was the Bull brand EV charger specified by the client, which arrived later than planned. Since the Carport's electrical design and commissioning were tied to that unit, we had to shift the timeline slightly.
Okay, that's quite understandable. Now let's talk about your local conditions in Jiangsu. Given the typhoons, the heavy rainfall, how did these weather conditions influence your mounting material and engineering choices for the rooftop?
Actually, here in our city, Suzhou experienced typhoons and heavy rainfalls, especially during the summer months. To ensure long-term safety and reliability, we selected high-strength, lightweight mounting materials for the rooftop installation. These materials reduce the overall structural load on the roof while providing excellent resistance to high winds and extreme weathers. This balance of strength and low weight was critical to meeting both engineering safety standards and the building's load capacity. At the same time, every year our engineers will do on-site PM to guarantee the performance and reliability.
Okay, Emma, shifting to your carport design, how did high winds and heavy rainfall drive your decisions on the structural and water drainage strategy?
Jiangsu's high winds and heavy rain shaped the whole carport design. We made the steel stronger for wind and for drainage. For drainage, we do a lot of works like we widened the roof edge panels so the rain can flow right off onto the grass. And we added a floor drain hose like 2 meters deep so the water goes straight into the ground also. And we also cut expansion joints in the slab that also help the rain seep away.
So before the system went live, what were the main checks your team carried out to make sure that it was safe and free of issues?
We did a bunch of checks to make sure it's safe and ready for the grid. We tested things like the insulation and grounding, which to avoid leaks or shocks, and inverter functions like how it handles voltage drops, anti-islanding, and power quality. Actually, the supplier did the main setup, but we also do a double check. And for every PV string, we check the voltage and wiring. And for the system run-through, we simulated a real operation to test the grid sync. And for some basic visual checks, we looked for damaged panels, loose cables, and proper frame grounding. So all these helped us to fix small issues early.
Now let's move on to Clelo Tech's leadership and impact. How did your company stand out against the larger EPCs? And what gave the client confidence that you could deliver both systems?
Honestly, this project was small in scale, but high in complexity. The kind of like the big EPCs usually pass on because they are focused on massive utility deals. But for us, we don't choose projects by size. We choose them by partnership. What really won their trust was that we listened first, then came back with real examples, clear timelines, and a team that would be fully involved from day one. So we showed we could deliver both systems on time, to spec, and without cutting corners. Not because we are the biggest, but because we are actually care about the details, which customers care about.
Emma, now coming to you, what do you think were the most critical decisions you made during the project that set your company apart from the others?
Well, the key things that set us apart, we said no to installing on the rusty roof. We pushed for a full replacement first. And we used the right panel in the right place, not just whatever was cheapest. And we built for real Jiangsu weather, not just the paper specs, typhoons, rain, humidity, and the works. And we stayed involved the whole way, even when things got messy, like the delayed EV charger.
So can you share your top 3 lessons on getting great results?
First, we spend smart, not cheap. Second, speed doesn't mean rushing. We moved fast by planning ahead, but we never skipped a quality check, even if it's added a day. And the third one is We keep it simple unless the site forces you to customize.
Looking back, Emma, is there one thing you would have done differently next time to better protect the project schedule?
Well, looking back, I am really happy with how the project turned out because it's strong, leak-free, and built to handle Suzhou's real weather like typhoons. But one thing I'd like to do differently, I like to talk about the delivery lead time much earlier. Because we didn't expect the charger delay. And on a small project like this, even one late component can push the whole schedule back. So now, we check the lead times up front, especially if the client has a specific brand in mind.
And that brings us to the end of this episode, Emma. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching Selling the Storm only on ENF Trade TV.